Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. You may not know it, but this month is National Peanut Butter Lovers Month, and there could not be a better month for me. If you don't know me very well, then you don't know that my favorite food is peanut butter. I've been asked so many times, if you were on a desert island, what food would you want? And I'm going to say peanut butter. So these recipes today are just right up my alley. One of the things that's so great about peanut butter is it gives you so much energy. It's loaded with protein, potassium, magnesium, and you know, people will say, you have so much energy. Well, maybe it's because I start every single day with peanut butter. All right, so we're doing 4 recipes today. We're gonna start with a peanut butter pound cake that's actually from my first cookbook. We're gonna do the sesame chicken strips with a peanut butter sauce, a southern chopped salad with a peanut butter dressing, and then finally a peanut butter energy bite. All right, so the peanut butter pound cake was our cake of the month in the summer because it was something that the kids would love as a snack when they're out of school, so it was extremely popular. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to give you more information about why I love baking so much. So the cake, the pound cake especially, I say is a gift of love. And even though you may think that you're presenting somebody a present, for me, it's that you gotta love it because it takes a while to make it, but it is so worth it. So let me tell you how I've gotten to this point. So I put my room temperature butter, my sugar, and my peanut butter in the bowl of the mixer, and it beats for 20 minutes. And you think that's a typo, there's no way that you do that for 20 minutes. But I've had so many people say to me, I've made your pound cake recipes, and now I know why my pound cake never rose or flopped or whatever. It's because that is very important to the process. Then you're gonna add in your eggs one at a time. And another tip I say is always have your eggs cracked into your Pyrex measuring cup. You can easily pour 1 egg yolk out at a time. Once that's incorporated, you want to let it mix again for 5 minutes. The next step is your cream and your flour. So you've got wet and dry. I've added my vanilla extract to my cream, just got that stirred around, and then I put my salt into my flour, just mix that together with a fork. So when you do those steps, you want to do dry first and end with wet. All right, so now I've got all of that finished, and I'm gonna turn the mixer back on, and I've got my peanut butter chips. And most of the time in a recipe, I will tell you to fold that in. But this time I'm telling you to use the mixer to do it because it's just important that that is incorporated really well into the batter. And speaking of the batter, let me go back to that for just a minute. The recipe will always say scrape the sides, but it doesn't mention the bottom of the bowl. And it's so important that you go all the way to the bottom because sometimes that sugar may not incorporate as well, so you want to do that. All right, once this is incorporated, and this is where I really go back to my mother and my grandmother in the kitchen, because let me assure you that they got every bit of this batter off the beaters. And I was always hoping there'd be a little bit for me to lick at the end. So I've got a 12-cup bundt pan, and this is not your ordinary bundt pan. Just look at this thing. Is it well used or not? So for those of you that are new to the VeryVera Show, I was in the mail order cake business for almost 25 years. So all of the cakes and casseroles that are in our first cookbook were part of my mail order company. So many people used to order this, but they didn't know how to make it. And so now you can become part of the VeryVera family by making the recipes that people used to order for years online. So this is one of the cake pans that I saved from that part of my business. And it's so well seasoned that you almost don't even have to spray it. But I certainly suggest that you use a floured baking spray and spray the pan really well when you get ready to use it. I've also preheated my oven to 325 degrees, and it's ready for this to go in. So this is a heavy bowl. This is one of the reasons I go to the gym, so I can hold these big old heavy bowls and get them in the oven. All right, so just take your time and spooning it about because you can go back around with your spatula. All right, so once you get all the batter in, you just want to take that spatula and kind of move it around. And you see you've got about an inch to a half at the top of the pan, which is basically what you're looking for. Most of our pound cake recipes are the same on this. So then once you've smoothed the batter, you want to hit it on the counter about 3 times. And now I'll get it into that oven. Right in the center. You see where my rack is, and the cake is now in the center of the oven. All right, so the glaze on this is amazing. So I've got my sugar and water in the pan, and I'm just gonna heat that until the sugar is dissolved. And on my induction cooktop, it really works well because I can have that kind of simmering a little bit as I'm finishing the cake, because that temperature really maintains itself very well. All right, so that looks really good. So now I'm gonna add in my peanut butter, National Peanut Butter Lovers Month, and we're gonna turn the heat up to about a medium, and then this will cook for 2 to 3 minutes. All right, so that looks just right. It's really combined very well, and it's cooled now for just a minute. And I didn't even have to take it off the heat because my induction cooktop, the minute you turn it off, it's off. All right, so now we're gonna add in the flavorings. I've got vanilla and butter flavoring, and stir that together. Then this is gonna go on top of the cooled cake, and it's gonna set up and get all nice and crunchy. All right, so why do I eat peanut butter every day? So I can have the energy to do this show and bring these great recipes to all of you. So up next are sesame chicken strips with a peanut butter sauce. Come back. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining me, we are celebrating National Peanut Butter Lovers Month, and I just said during the break that I should be the president of that fan club, because I honestly start my day every single day with a tablespoon of peanut butter on a slice of toasted English muffin. It's just where I get my energy pack from. So I'm glad to have you all joining me today for some really delicious recipes. So we got that peanut butter pound cake in the oven. The smell in here is amazing. So I can't wait for you to try that recipe as well. And as always, our recipes are on our website at VeryVera.com. All right, so the Georgia Peanut Commission has been such a great partner to us for many years, and we actually started with them on a peanut farm. I got in the tractor, I saw how they till them up, so I learned a lot, and we still actually show and re-shows a lot, and you can also watch it on YouTube. All right, so we had a little bit to do in advance for these sesame chicken strips. So I got my pan prepared, put a piece of parchment in it, and then I sprayed the top of the rack so that the chicken won't stick when we put it in the oven. And then you've got your boneless, skinless chicken breast. I've cut those into 1-inch strips. The recipe calls for about 2.5 pounds of chicken, but you can make as much or as little as you want. So I've got my mayonnaise here. I'm gonna add to that yellow mustard, and I don't even season the chicken. It's just ready to go just like it is. All right, and then the onion. So we're gonna mix that together. And I love to use these little pie dishes for this because you can spread it out and you can roll the chicken in it. All right, so now to my Ritz crackers that have been crushed, I'm gonna add in my sesame seeds. All right, so the rule is always wet and dry. So we're gonna take a chicken strip. We're gonna roll it into the mayonnaise mixture. And you know, this also makes this chicken very tender because it's almost like a brine. Now we're gonna roll it into the dry. And you know, just take your time on this. And again, these are the recipes that we love to do with the children in summer camp because they're, you know, it gets a little bit messy, which they like. We don't necessarily like that much, but it works. All right, so let's do another one. And then in terms of what you can do in advance, you know, you could get this part done and not bake it yet and have it ready to go, you know, when if you want to serve it like warm, but these are great at room temperature as well. All right. And I actually love, you know, dark meat, but the strips are, of course, better if you use a chicken breast. And there are other things that you could use to coat it in as well. You could use panko breadcrumbs, lots of different ways that you could make this your own recipe. Now you don't want to, if you have any of this mayonnaise mixture left, you don't want to reuse that because you have put raw chicken in it. So you would want to start over again on both of these things if you had any left over. All right. So these are going to go into a 425-degree oven for about 15 to 18 minutes, depending. So this is Georgia Grinders peanut butter that I already have in my saucepan. And then we're going to add all of these other ingredients to that. We've got heavy cream. And this is one of those sauces that you may have other things that you might want to make this sauce to go with. Once you've tried it with the chicken, you could use it with other things as well. And then this is corn syrup. And I like to use a whisk for this just because there's a lot of thickness in some of these ingredients. Light brown sugar and vanilla extract. All right, so this is just gonna heat through and get done. And when we come back from the break, one of my favorite recipes out of our second cookbook, Occasions, is the Southern chopped salad. So we're gonna get started on that and do a twist on a dressing that I've been using for years. So come back with us in just a few minutes. All right, so we're on a roll here with recipes made with peanut butter, and I absolutely love this recipe. It is a Southern chopped salad. It's in our second cookbook, Occasions, and it is just so colorful. I mean, look at all these ingredients. I mean, everything at the kitchen sink is in this salad today, but the dressing is the star of the show because it just has that punch of peanut butter. So I really love it. So one of the things that I keep telling all of you new folks, all the 25 new markets that are watching the show, to get to know me a little better, is one of the things that I love to do is put a twist on my own recipe. So the balsamic vinaigrette dressing that we're using today is in my first cookbook, Recipes from My Table. But when we were looking at a dressing recipe to make for this show today with the Georgia Peanut Commission, I thought, why would we not use the balsamic and let the twist be the peanut butter? So that's what we've done today. So we're gonna get started on it. So I'm gonna put my balsamic vinegar in the blender. How many of you still have a blender in the cabinet? I know I do, but if you don't have a blender and you've got a RoboCoupe, you could use that as well. So now I'm gonna put in my Georgia Grinders peanut butter. I've got mayonnaise, all the good stuff. is going in this dressing today. And the nice thing about this is if you make it and like it, you can make a lot because it's going to last in the refrigerator for quite a while. This is water. I've got fresh garlic. I've got kosher salt, dark brown sugar, and some Dijon mustard. All right, so we're going to put this on the blender, put the lid on, and now we're just going to pulse it. All right, so we're just going to pulse that, and then the next ingredients you pour in slowly. And one of the things I love about my Wolf blender is there's a hole in the top. So when I'm doing something like this where I want to go slow, it's just going right through this top into the mixer. So that's the oil, and now the pepper. All right, so that's good to go, and this can go directly into a cruet or a pretty pitcher that you might have. So now we're going to get started on the salad. So my favorite green is arugula, but one of the things that people really love are these mixed greens. So you've got all kinds of stuff in here. It's beautiful. And so I prefer, when I serve it at my house, I know everybody loves this dressing, so I'll go ahead and toss it with the dressing on there. But you can have the dressing on the side and in the container that I said, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in presentation. But just look at these ingredients. So this is the Cosmic Crisp apple. If you're not familiar with it, needless to say, we have not put lemon juice on this, and look at the color of those apples. They do not turn brown. It's like a cross between a Fuji and a Granny Smith. So it's got a little bit of tartness and sweetness. Now I'm going to put my peanuts in. I've got craisins. So just look at the colors. Look what's happening here. Shoe peg corn, have you ever heard of such a thing? So you can do either the frozen or the canned. Or if it's in the dead of summer and you can cut it off the cob after you've run it through the microwave for a minute, that's really good too. Fresh green beans that have been blanched, and look at that bright green color coming out. Now we've got Gruyere cheese. Put that right in the center. All right, now the bacon. All right, so let me tell you how I did this. So I used that same pan that I love so much, put a piece of aluminum foil in the bottom, sprayed the top of the rack with pan spray, and then I laid the bacon across, and it goes into a 400-degree oven. It's going to cook for 20 to 25 minutes. And now you don't have splatter all over the kitchen. You've got that great smell going on. And then to cut it, I used a knife. A lot of times if I'm in a hurry, I'll just tear the bacon after it's cooled. The other thing you can do is use your kitchen shears to do that. But this is just a really crisp component. Adds to the peanut butter that's going to be in the peanuts, and the peanut butter that's in the dressing. And then we'll toss that up right before. But if you want to know more about cooking bacon, let me suggest that you go to our YouTube. It's a bacon episode that we did, and I tell you how to cook it in the microwave, in the oven, on top of the stove, the best way to start with a cold pan, all of those things. So remember us on YouTube as well. All right, so when we come back, we're going to get started with a beautiful presentation of everything with Georgia Peanut Commission and my favorite food, peanut butter. Welcome back, everybody, and what a great day of celebration for the Georgia Peanut Commission and for National Peanut Butter Lovers Month. I have had the best time today. And certainly for all of you, we're going to put something on Instagram where we're going to ask each of you to tell us, of the recipes that we made today, which one would you make? All right, so let's walk back through what we did today. We started with a peanut butter pound cake. It rose beautifully. It came out of the oven with the perfect crown. And part of that is that love factor that I spoke about today. The 20 minutes of creaming that butter and sugar really makes that amazing. So, use a larger plate than normal when you've got a wow factor dessert. And so adding some additional chocolate to a peanut butter pound cake, of course, is great. Then putting peanuts on it as an additional garnish, so it just makes for a beautiful presentation. All right, so then we moved to the sesame chicken strips with the peanut butter sauce. And honestly, just look really closely at these chicken strips. I've never seen a chicken strip that looked as good as this. It just looks so crunchy, and y'all, they are delicious. And then the peanut butter sauce, I think you're gonna really love too. And you could do that with apples or carrot sticks. There's so many different things that you could use that sauce for. And it holds up very well in the refrigerator, so keep that in mind as well. We moved from that into the chopped Southern salad. And this is beautiful. I tossed it up, just watching all the ingredients come together when you're tossing it up. And I said during the show that a lot of times if I'm doing it for my family, I'll go ahead and put the dressing on the salad when I'm tossing it in the bowl, especially if we're on a buffet line. But most of the time, people like their dressing on the side. They like to put as much or as little as they would like. But see how pretty this dressing is in a little cruet? So it's really nice to put it on the table and let everybody pass, but it comes together really well. That bacon just held up, it's so crisp. And don't forget about my tip about finding out all the different ways to cook bacon. And then finally, we're throwing in a bonus recipe today. I usually do 3, we're doing 4 today. These are the energy bites that are made with peanut butter that are just delicious. All right, so we start with 2 cups of rolled oats, 1/4 of a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, a cup of crunchy peanut butter, 1/4 of a cup of honey. So once I finish that, you roll them in the chia seeds, and then I pop this in the freezer. And then when it's time to eat one, you can just pull it out, let it thaw for just a second, pop it right in your mouth. Our recipes are always available on our website at VeryVera.com, so can't wait for you to try these. But better yet, remember, no matter what you do, do it in good taste, and I hope you'll come back and join me again next week.